The limits of the possible can only be defined by going beyond them into the impossible. Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. Good afternoon to all the dignitaries and a very warm welcome to all. Myself, Dr. Farha, the convener of Home Sterling Global University's 5 days faculty development program, Blended Mode, in collaboration with Maharaja Agrasen University, Solan, on advances in research and technologies in education, with a special reference to National Education Policy 2020, Day 3, Session 2. It is said that once you stop learning, you start dying. So, without wasting time, let us introduce me to today's resource person. We are privileged to have our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N.P. Kaushik, as the resource person of this session. In order to welcome him, let us show our gratitude to Professor N.P. Kaushik with a token of honor after presenting a plan to him. I request Dr. Mahendra Punia and Dr. Rakesh Diman to please come here and present a plan to him. Sir, please, N.P. Kaushik, sir, please. Please give a huge round of applause for them. Thank you so much, sir. Please have your seats. वैसे तो हम सभी सर के आला किरदार से वाकिफ हैं। सर का आला किरदार किसी भी तारुफ का मोहताज नहीं है। Professor N.P. Kaushik, he is B.Tech Civil Engineering from MBM Engineering College, Jodhpur, and M.Tech from IIT Delhi. Later, he did his PhD from IIT Roorkee in Geotechnical Engineering. He has more than 35 years of teaching experience. He has been the Vice Chancellor of Rajasthan University from 2016 to 2019. He has also worked on the post of Pro Vice Chancellor, Dean Engineering, and Dean Faculty of Management, and also as Dean Students Welfare. Apart from that, Sir has also been the controller of examination and also the head of civil engineering. He had also served the post of the chairman board of studies and also the RTU DAT of M.Tech admissions. He had also been the convener of RMCAAT engineering admissions and also the PMGSY state coordinator. He has been awarded the Award for Education Excellence, Lifetime Achievement, Award of Institution of Engineers, Pride of Rajasthan, Fellow of Instruction of Engineers, and Life Member ISTE, IGS, and ISCM. Recently, he had also been awarded the Vice Chancellor of the Year in 2022. Now let us welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, for today's delegation. Sir, please, you are most welcome over here. Please give a huge round of applause.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Farah, for giving a nice introduction. One correction is there. It is Rajasthan Technical University, not the Rajasthan University, because both the universities are there in Rajasthan. Rajasthan University is the oldest university in Rajasthan, and Rajasthan Technical University was established in 2006. So let us come to the today's business directly, because already we have passed, I think, 10 to 12 minutes of this session. So today we will be discussing on national education policy, because now all over the country, all the institutions, all the universities, whether they are belonging to any kind of discipline, all they are required to now adopt the provisions of National Education Policy 2020. And not only they have to adopt, but they have to implement it in its spirit also, whatever is given in this National Education Policy. So, as far as the discussion is concerned, first we will try to discuss that why it was necessary to bring this new education policy, and then we will discuss some fundamentals behind framing this national education policy, and then we will try to discuss some of the aspects or the provisions which have been made in this policy, so that you can also be aware that what new provisions have been made and how we should also be ready for implementing this all these provisions. Next. Next. So, as far as introduction of any policy is concerned, whether it is education policy or policy in any other regard, all these actually have some time frame. And after the elapse of some time frame, each and every policy is required to be rethinking, redesign, and it also needs review and revision. So, in the same way, it was necessary for the education policy also that it needs redesign and rethinking or review. Any policy in existence, it is very difficult to continue it for more than 10 years. So, if any policy continues beyond a long time, then whatever provisions have been made, they becomes redundant, and the policy becomes ineffective. So I think this is also one of the reason behind the NEP also, and a lot of technological development have also taken place in last 30 years. You can see that new technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, IoT, machine learning, and many more things are coming in the picture. And if our education system is not parallel to that, then definitely we will not be able to come up with all these technologies. So we have to think over this, that how or we are required to adopt all these things in our education system. Next one. Along with that, the business is also changing day by day. Earlier, you might have seen that there was no e-marketing. If we look back 20 years back or 30 years back, but now this has become very common. Digitalization of the services has become very common, and we need introduction of the new technologies in the development of the infrastructure, manufacturing, etc. So, looking to all these factors, it was felt necessary that there should be new education policy which should include all these provisions. And I think there can be many other reasons also for revising the education policy. The earlier education policy was launched in 1986, and there was a long period of 34 years, and it was framed. And you will be glad to know that for framing this policy, I think more than 2 lakh stakeholders were contacted, or their feedback were taken to frame this policy, and finally it was revised. The chairman of the committee was the great scientist Dr. Kasturi Rangan. So, from in his leadership, the team prepared this new national education policy. Next, please. Now, these aspects of the national education policy we are going to discuss in this deliberation. First is the fundamentals of education policy. I told you that uh, after getting the 2 lakh suggestions, they made some fundamentals on which this policy should be based. So we will try to look upon that. Then the various provisions which have been made in this national education policy. One of the important provision is multiple entry and exit. Then academic bank of credit, 2 academic programs simultaneously, dual degree program, UG degree with major and minor, research development cell. Next, please. Then Indian knowledge system, SWAYAM and MOOCs, internationalization of the education, and optimal utilization of the higher education institution, and lastly, the gross enrollment ratio. So first we will take up this fundamentals of the national education policy. The most important aspect behind this national education policy or the fundamental is that to recognize the capability of individual student, and for that we have to motivate our teachers, we have to motivate our parents, so that we do not push the student into the education system without knowing his capabilities or without knowing his interest. So one of the important thing which is behind framing this policy is that we need to identify or recognize the capability of the individual students, so that he can or she can be educated accordingly. If anybody is having interest in science, he should go to the science, and if somebody is having interest in sports, then he should excel or she should excel in the sports. In this policy, uh, very much emphasis have been given on the teachers and faculty. Policy has laid down the provisions, how the upgradation of the teachers can be done, how updating of the teachers can be done, how they can be trained, and they have well laid provisions for their career upgradement also. So well-defined career, because if we have to well teach the students, then we have to make provision for the teacher so he can remain satisfied with his or her career and he can proceed further. Any unsatisfied person cannot perform better. Therefore, the teachers have been given or attention in this policy. Highest priority. Actually, this is related to the school education because we know that the children are not able to even I read the news 2 days before that there is large percentage of students at lower level class 1 2 3 etc that they are not able to identify numbers, they are not able to identify the words, they are not able to speak the or read the words. So actually, to overcome this problem, it is not simply that you enter into the school and you get promoting to the higher classes. Learning should be there. You should be able to identify words, numbers, etc. You should be able to read quietly. You should be able to write quietly. So, in this policy, this point have been emphasized and it has been given highest priority. As far as the flexibility is concerned, here the flexibility has been provided in terms of the pace of education, time of education, and in terms of choice of subjects, in terms of multidisciplinary education. So this kind of the flexibility has been, we will see in detail when we will see the structure of the this undergraduate course. You will see that how much flexibility has been having provided and how it has become multidisciplinary. Respect for diversity. Actually, we know that India is a very diverse country. It is having different cultures, different languages throughout the Indian constituents. Here, in the northern part, the Hindi is prevalent, where in the southern part, we are having their languages, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, etc. And in other states, the other languages are prevalent. So actually, first time, instead of forcing that you have to study in Hindi or you have to study in the English, it has been tried that you should make medium of language in which the children or the student can learn better. So we can imagine that if the student is from Telugu or Telangana, they will better understand the Telugu language. Or in Tamil Nadu, they will better understand the Tamil language. So we cannot force that they should always read English or Hindi. So in this, it has been this diversity aspect has been taken consideration, and it has been tried that at least at the school level, the education should be provided in the regional language, in the local language, or in the national language, and that way this diversity has been taken into consideration. Next. Apart from educating the students, these important aspects of being a human, you can simply teach the student and you can make them robot. But here in this policy, it has been tried that you do not make your students robot. You have to inculcate them the ethical values, human values, so that they can become the social men or women in the society and they can serve the society better. And one of the important thing which has been taken care in this national education policy, that instead of mugging the things and writing in the examination and passing the examination, it has been tried to give emphasis on the creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, etc. So that you can produce a real graduate, and when they go outside your university, they can really work for the industries or the society also. Along with all these things, the national education policy also has laid emphasis on the research that all the institutions, all the universities should involve in the quality research. Next. This is the very important provision which has been now made in the new education policy or national education policy, that is multiple entry and exit. So what is the provision at present? If a student joins the graduation program, let us say that we can sleep in the class also. अभी तो 2 मिनट ही हुए हैं.
ये प्रोविजन न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में भी है क्या सर? उनको लॉ नहीं लग रही होगी.
मल्टीपल एग्जिट का है ना, इसमें तो मतलब दे आर गोइंग आउट ऑफ द माइंड एंड कीपिंग क्वाइट. Be grateful to the national education policy. It provides you opportunity to sleep in the class.
Good acting कर दिया सर सारे जाना है.
You know, I have noticed one was sleeping. Anyway, I was telling that what is the existing provision. If a student takes the admission in a graduation program, whether it is BA, BSc, or even engineering BTech program, so once he enters after completing his 10+2 qualification, then he will be or she will be awarded the degree of that discipline, arts, science, or engineering, after completion of those 3 years or 4 years, right? And unfortunately, if any student is not able to complete that program within the stipulated time, that is, for BA we have 3 years, and maximum we provide double of this duration, 6 years, right? So even if someone is not able to complete his her program in the 6th year, the qualification of that students will remain only 10+2. There is no addition in the qualification. So this was a very rigid system in the earlier education policy, right? And this was a इसको कहेंगे कि बहुत मतलब जो है स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बड़ा ही दुखदाई था ये, because I have seen this thing in the particularly in the case of engineering students, because you are having 4-year degree course, you give them 8 years of time, but even after passage of 8 years, the students are not able to complete their engineering program and they remain at 10+2 only. तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि if a student is entering at the age of 19 or 20, and after 8 years of, he will be completing 28 years and he is nowhere. So from that point of view, I think that this is a very, very important aspect or provision which have been made now in the national education policy. So here, this national education policy has the provision of awarding the UG certificate, awarding the UG diploma, awarding the 3-year UG degree, awarding the 4-year honors degree, and awarding the 4-year honors degree with the research. So now these 5 provisions have been made, right? So student has flexibility. We were talking of the flexibility. So now the student has flexibility. Let us suppose that one student has entered into some program and he has completed 1 year. Here, one thing which we have to note down, that the education is totally based on the credit system. All the programs now have to be devised into the credits. Unfortunately, even before implementation of this national education policy, our own programs are credit based. So we are fortunate in that terms. So for completing the UG certificate, a student has to complete 40 credits, and he is also required to complete 4 credit vocational course. So basically, here he is getting the education in that area as well as he is getting some skill with that. So he is given this UG certificate, and when she goes out using this skill, he can work somewhere. And if someone wishes to leave, they can leave also, or if they want to continue, they can continue the program. So it is up to the student. So this is a flexibility which is provided in the system. If the student completes the 2 years and 80 credits along with again 4 credit vocational course, पहले साल में उसने जो है 40 क्रेडिट किए और 4 क्रेडिट का वोकेशनल कोर्स किया, दूसरे साल में फिर उसने 40 क्रेडिट्स किए, यानी कि टोटल 80 क्रेडिट्स कंप्लीट होंगे और 2 वोकेशनल कोर्स उनके कंप्लीट होंगे. So in such case UG diploma will be provided, and if the student continuously completes, not necessarily that it is in continuation, it can be in steps also. If the student completes the 120 credits, they will be provided the UG degree, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, etc. Right? Now the addition which has been made in the national education policy, that right up to now the courses were of 3 years, but now the graduation course will be of the 4 years. So there they have to complete the 160 credits. In this also there are 2 provisions. One can opt for the research. So here the motivation for the research is being given right from the graduation stage. So if someone wants to do the research or he intends to join the PhD directly after completing the graduation, in that case, the student has to complete the 160 credit, and he is required to do the 12 credit research project. So in that case, the UG degree which will be provided, that will be Bachelor of Science with research. So this is how this multiple entry and exit have been entered into this new education system. Next one. One more thing was there, you might have read on the slide. For that research purpose, it is necessary that the student will obtain minimum 75% marks. So for such students, they can directly enter into the PhD program. This is the benefit which is now available. Earlier what we have, the person is required to do the post-graduation and then they have to go for the research. But now in this new education policy, they can directly go if they have done this 4-year degree course, right? Now ये आगे बढ़ते और आगे बढ़ते और आगे बढ़ते और आगे Yes. The in-between slides were actually the description of all these what we have discussed, right? The next provision is academic bank of credit. Now we have discussed the multiple entry and multiple exit system. So how actually practically it will be implemented? So from that point of view, this concept of academic bank of credit has been introduced. So actually it is just like the commercial bank we are having. What we are actually doing in the bank, we are depositing our money, and as and when it is required, we can withdraw our money, right? And banks makes security of our money. So all these things are also there in the academic bank of credit. So actually it will be a digital bank, and the credits which have been earned by the students will be deposited or stored in this bank. So basically here in this bank, there will be three stakeholders: a student who is earning the education or earning the credits, and universities or institutions which are imparting the education or imparting the credits. And third is the university or institution which is borrowing the credits or uh, which is giving the admission to the student. As in the case of multiple entry and exit, we have seen that a student can leave the course after 1 year or 2 years, and he can re-enter into the education system after a lapse of 1 or 2 years, as may be. Maximum time is 7 years. So within 7 years, they are required to complete this education. So here, how it will be done? So it is through the academic bank of credit. So whatever credit for doing this, all the three stakeholders are required to be the part of academic bank of credit. यानी कि जैसे हम लोग अपना खाता खोलते हैं, इसी तरीके से इन तीनों स्टेक होल्डर्स को अपना खाता उसमें खोलना पड़ेगा. And every stakeholder will be provided the unique ID for that, right? So as and when the student want to re-enter into the same institute, or he want to take the admission in some other institute, his credits will be used through this academic bank of credit. Let us suppose the student left after completing the certificate. Now he wants to do diploma or complete degree. So those 40 credits which have already been earned by the student now will be added to his career. So from that point of view, this academic bank of credit is very important, and many of the universities in this Haryana and all over India have already registered to this academic bank of credit, and this will be maintained by MIT, the Ministry of Electronics and IT. And you might have heard the name of NAB, National Academic Depository. So that will also be associated with this academic bank of credit, right? So this is how this academic bank of credit is important for making practical the previous aspect which we have discussed, multiple entry and exit. क्योंकि इसके बिना वो जो aspect है वो आपका जो है practically जो है feasible नहीं होगा. Next. Next. This is the third provision, two academic programs simultaneously. What is the existing provision? If a student has taken admission in certain degree program, he is supposed to complete that program, and then after only he can do the other program that can be certificate, diploma, degree, etc. Right? But here, this very important aspect has been brought in this policy. That is, a student can do two simultaneous academic programs. यानी कि दो डिग्री वो एक साथ कर सकता है. Right? The two degrees can be done at the same institute, two different institutes, and one degree can be done in the physical mode and another degree can be done in the ODM or ON. So now this flexibility has been brought in this system. Here when the student is doing uh, both programs, both academic programs in same institute simultaneously, in that case, the institute has to make the timetable in such a way that the classes or timetable are not overlapping with each other. Let us suppose that the student is doing BSc as well as some diploma. So it means that the timetable for the two courses, BSc and diploma, should be entirely different. यानी कि एक का प्रोग्राम या सुबह के उसमें हो सकता है, दूसरे का आपका जो है इवनिंग में हो सकता है. Only this condition has been laid down in this case. Or when a student is doing such courses, earlier the migration condition was very rigid, but in such cases this migration condition will be relaxed, because earlier it was not possible that a student can do the two courses in two different institutes. Online भी कर रहा है या offline कर रहा है, तो on both of the cases the migration was required. But because of this, now migration has to be relaxed. And when student is doing, each qualification is to fulfill the statutory criteria laid down by different statutory bodies. If someone is doing law, that has to satisfy the laws of BCI or PCI, AICT, etc., whatever may be the case. So they have to satisfy those statutory requirements for doing these courses. Next one. So in the previous case, it was two academic programs simultaneously. Now we are talking of the dual degree program. So actually, this is the provision which has been made. It is for the collaboration of Indian and foreign universities. So such dual degree programs will be offered by both Indian and foreign university. And in this dual degree program, three provisions have been made: training program, and the joint degree program, and the dual degree program. So as far as the training program is concerned, the student has to do partial study at the Indian university, partial studies at the foreign university. Course will remain same, but only the study is divided at the two different centers or two different universities, right? The condition which has been laid down, that is 30% minimum credits from foreign university. So student has to obtain minimum 30%. It can be more than that, but at least 30% credit should be from the foreign university. And degree will be provided by the Indian university. So this is the provision under the twinning program. Here you can clearly see that this is a collaborative degree which is being provided by Indian and foreign university. मतलब इसमें डिग्री जो फाइनल है वो तो इस ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम में इंडियन यूनिवर्सिटी प्रोवाइड कर रही है, लेकिन आगे हम देखेंगे कि द फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी आल्सो प्रोवाइड्स द डिग्री. नेक्स्ट वन प्लीज. Joint degree program. So here the curriculum is jointly designed by the Indian university as well as the foreign university. Certification is also done jointly by the Indian university and foreign university. In the previous case, the degree was awarded by the Indian university, but here the certification is jointly made by both the universities. Here also, the student must earn at least 30% of the total credits from each of the university. पहले में केवल ये था कि 30% आपके फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी से आपको obtain करने हैं, but here in the joint degree program, from each of the university, at least 30% of the credits you are required to achieve. You can take the example which we have taken, 120 credits. So in the previous case, 40 credits from the foreign university. In this case, 40 credits from the Indian and foreign university, and remaining 40 credits can be done from any of the university, right? So this is said to be the joint degree program because this is jointly awarded by the two universities, right? Thank you. Next. Dual degree program. So actually, in this case, the program is designed both by Indian and this foreign university at the same level and in the same subject, right? The two institutes provides the degrees separately but simultaneously. अब इसको थोड़ा सा आपको समझना पड़ेगा, separately and simultaneously. Simultaneously means that at the completion of the course duration. Let us suppose if the course duration is of 3 years, then from both the universities, the student will complete the course of the 3 years. At the end of 3 years, both the universities will be providing their certificate to the student. That's why it is termed as the dual degree. Yeah, previous was the twinning and then joint, and this is dual. So student is getting two certificates instead of a single certificate. He is getting two certificates, and here also student must earn at least 30% of the total credits from the Indian institution. So this is the dual degree program, and it should not be confused with the 2 degree programs, because 2 degree programs are to be done in the Indian universities only, whereas it is a provision for the collaboration of Indian and foreign universities. Next. 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 Now let us see the structure of the undergraduate program, right? So from here you will appreciate that how our degree programs now will be multidisciplinary, and how we are introducing each and everything, or a holistic development concept which was under the fundamental concepts of this national education policy is being fulfilled through this composition of the courses. So you can see here the major core courses will have the 50% contribution. If it is a 3-year degree course, then the total credits are 120. So major core courses will be having 60. And if it is a 4-year degree course, then it is having 160 credits, and it will be 50%, that is 80 for the major core courses. Then minor stream it is the 20% of the total credits. 120, 20%, 24, and 160, 20%, 32. So 32 or 20%, you can say 20% credits are assigned to the minor specialization. And along with these two courses, two types of the courses, major and minor, rest of the 30% has been divided into, you can say everybody is required to do these courses. That is ability enhancement courses, skill enhanced courses, value added courses, summer internship. As far as the research project is concerned, it will be opted by a student who want to go for the research. So it is not in the 3 years degree course, but it is only in the 4-year degree course, right? So this is the composition which has been now suggested by UGC as well as the National Education Policy. So basically, ourselves also and other institute or universities also now required to change their programs according to this structure. अभी हमारा स्ट्रक्चर जो है वो यूनिवर्सिटीज के अंदर ऐसा नहीं है. बहुत से यूनिवर्सिटीज में जहाँ पे चॉइस बेस्ड क्रेडिट सिस्टम को स्ट्रिक्टली जिन्होंने इंप्लीमेंट किया है, there it is possible that they are giving attention strictly to this composition. Otherwise, where we are having these single discipline courses, then we are required to change now because we have to make the holistic development of the student. So we have to include all these components of the education. Next, please. Now, disciplines have been divided into two categories: major discipline and minor discipline, right? So major discipline is that discipline in which the 50% of the total credits are attained, right? Or in the table we have seen the minor discipline will be of the 20% range. So here example has also been given that if a student is doing 12 credits of the statistics as a minor, then he may be awarded a degree in economics with minor in statistics. So this will be the combination depending upon the type of the discipline we are opting. इकोनॉमिक्स के साथ में स्टैटिक्स का कॉम्बिनेशन है तो फिजिक्स के साथ में कोई कॉम्बिनेशन दूसरा होगा, right? So accordingly the program has to be devised. So division is based on that major course will be that course in which the 50% of the total credits are earned. Next. Now these UG degree have also been designated in different manners. The first is UG program with single major. If we are giving emphasis on some particular aspect, here the example of physics and economics has been given. So if you are emphasizing particularly on physics, if you are emphasizing particularly on economics, then your degree will be awarded as the single major UG degree. UG degree program with the double major. So here additional credits are to be earned, that is 40% credits from the second major. So if it is a 3-year program, then 48 credits, and if it is a 4-year program, then 64 credits are to be earned for this double major program. Next. interdisciplinary. How it will become interdisciplinary? We have defined that the 50% credits are to be earned from the major course. So in that major course, the courses related to the that major course can be divided. So here, one of the example you can see here that econometrics. This subject requires the knowledge of economics, statistics, and mathematics. So here, those 50% credit will be divided into these three types of the subjects, and the combined degree which will be given, that will be BSc Econometrics. So here, in this way, as we have taken the example of econometric, in the similar way, we can take the some other interdisciplinary course. फिजिक्स का भी ले सकते हैं, तो फिजिक्स के साथ में कौन से कोर्स इसमें डिपेंडेंट होंगे, उनका कॉम्बिनेशन मिलेगा उसमें. नेक्स्ट, multidisciplinary. So here you can see that there can be different kind of the courses: life science, physical science, mathematical, computer, data analysis, social science, humanities. So for example, a student who opts for a UG program in life science, अगर लाइफ साइंस की डिग्री उसको लेनी है तो उसके अंदर मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी एजुकेशन क्या होगी? तो लाइफ साइंस से रिलेटेड जो अलाइड सब्जेक्ट्स होंगे सारे, that can be your botany, geology, human biology, etc. So now the credits will be divided into these subjects, and this will become the multidisciplinary degree. In the table we have seen that now, along with the major and minor, you are required to take the other courses. So these other courses are also related to natural and physical science. These and here these courses will be of 9 credits. तो कम से कम 3 कोर्स आपके इनमें से किसी एक में डिसिप्लिन में से, जैसे कोई भी आप ले सकते हैं, तो 3 कोर्स इसमें मिनिमम लेने पड़ेंगे, which will constitute the 9 credits. So that course may be from natural and physical science, तो उसमें आपका बायोलॉजी बॉटनी हो सकता है, मैथमेटिक्स, स्टैटिक्स एंड कंप्यूटर एप्लीकेशन रिलेटेड one can take, so that they can learn the application of software, SPSS, Tally, etc. Then library information and media science, so one can take the subjects from this stream also. Commerce management, accountancy, etc. So any of the subjects can be taken from this stream. Next. Then humanities and social science. So these are the 5 areas from which one has to take 3 courses constituting the 9 credits. So now you see that we have defined major, we have defined minor, and along with these, we are giving the knowledge of these different aspects, which is compulsory for any student, right? Then ability enhancement courses, these are 8 credits. So first one, modern Indian language, and other is English language focused on language and communication skill. And we know that nowadays communication skill is very important. So each and every student is required to learn these things. As far as the modern language, Indian language is concerned, he can go for any Indian recognized language. उसमें मतलब जैसे अगर तमिलनाडु का बच्चा है तो तमिल सीख सकता है, आंध्रा का बच्चा है तो वो सीख सकता है, तमिलनाडु का बच्चा जो है वो हिंदी भी सीख सकता है. So any Indian language one has to learn, and this is compulsory for all UG student. Next one, please. स्किल एनहेंसमेंट कोर्सेज, क्योंकि इसमें सारे मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी इसके साथ में वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ द स्किल एनहेंसमेंट ऑल्सो, so that one student when comes out after completing degree program, he is not required to dependent upon the government or private job. He must have some skill so that he can run his business on. So from that point of view, these skill courses will be taught to the student, and this is also having 9 credits. And these courses are to be designed by the institute itself, depending upon the resources available there. If you have good resources of the computer science, you can offer the computer science related courses. If you have some practical, good practical labs with you, you can assign the courses related to labs also. So basically the concept is that you have to provide some skill. You can taught them some softwares also, like Tally or in civil engineering STED, ETAB, etc. So many things are available. If a person learns these things, particularly for civil engineering students, if they learn STED, ETAB or related to water resources, etc., then they can do their work on. They immediately they are not required to dependent upon some private agency or government agency. If they have a skill, they can do their work on. And nowadays, you can see that a lot of infrastructure development is taking place in the sector of roads, bridges, and airport, etc. So all these things are required. So you have to use your skill, and you have to earn your job. Then value-added courses. We were talking of that we have to make our students human being. क्या ज़्यादा हो गया क्या time?
ये आपको नहीं आता।
So these courses will be 6 to 8 credits. Understanding India. Understanding India means that we have to understand the history of India. We have to understand the provisions of the Constitution of India. We have to understand our responsibilities towards the nation. So all these things actually come under this understanding India. Then you know that this environment is becoming very prominent. So every student actually should learn or know about that how environment protection can be done and how this degradation is taking place, so that they can be prepared to contribute towards the environment. Then digital and technology. So nowadays everything is based on digital technology. So our students are also required to be aware with these digital technologies. क्योंकि सिंपल से सिग्नल आपका जो जैसे आजकल ट्रांजेक्शन आप करते हैं मोबाइल से करते हैं, तो उसमें you should be aware about those technology also, and how the safety can be maintained in those transactions. That should also be known to the students. और जो भी सिविल इंजीनियर्स है उनको पता होना चाहिए उसमें. Then health and wellness. You are doing everything but you are not happy and healthy, then nothing can be okay. So it is very much necessary that along with all teaching, etc., one must remain happy and healthy. So from that point of view, we are required to give training of yoga, these sports, fitness, etc. So everyone remain fit. Next one, please. Then every student is required to go for this summer internship or the apprenticeship. So this apprenticeship or summer internship, this the students are required to do under the supervision of the faculty members. And they have to go in some industry. So there should be some industry exposure also. अब ये industry exposure is not limited to the engineering student. This is the important thing which has been brought into this policy. Earlier हम जब बात करते थे तो केवल engineering student की training की बात करते थे. But now this provision is made for each and every degree. UG degree. UG degree किसी के भी हो तो इकोनॉमिक्स वाला इकोनॉमिक्स के हिसाब से अपनी ट्रेनिंग करेगा, इंजीनियरिंग वाला अपनी इंजीनियरिंग के हिसाब से करेगा, फार्मेसी वाला अपनी फार्मेसी के हिसाब से करेगा. So each and everyone has to be exposed to the industrial exposure, and they have to do this apprenticeship or internship for the 2 to 4 credits. एक क्रेडिट का मतलब क्या होता है ये बता सकते हैं? मतलब we actually since long we have been talking of credit. कहीं ऐसा नहीं हो कि पूरा हम क्रेडिट का वो कर लें और उसके बाद हमें पता ही नहीं क्रेडिट क्या होता है.
नंबर ऑफ आवर्स
है?
नंबर ऑफ आवर्स
देखिए, answer should be very precise and it should be according to this policy.
15 hours.
क्योंकि at this stage, each and every teacher must know at least the meaning of credit. और credits में भी theory के credits, practical के credits, internship के credit, they have different meanings. कौन बताए?
Yes, sir. Number of hours per week. Suppose I am taking a physics class. So if I take 4 lectures per week, so the course will be provided for credit.
आपने इसमें एक अधूरा छोड़ दिया है. ये डेफिनेशन कंप्लीट नहीं है.
I think it also includes tutorial. Tutorial. Tutorial.
नहीं. Anyone else? देखिए आप सब लोग जो है क्रेडिट पढ़ा रहे हैं. अब हमको बताएंगे पूनिया जी कि क्रेडिट का मतलब क्या है.
Credit means 15 hours, 15 teaching hours. It may be annual, it may be semester. 4 hours per a week. It means it is a semester system. In a semester, there are 15 or 16 weeks to study. So, if we are taking the 1 hour for a week and the 15 week, that means there are 15 hours. So, it will be 1 credit. So, actually, the definition of the credit is 15 working hours is the 1 credit. It may be you have to complete it in 1 week, it may be completed in 2 weeks, it may be completed in 3 weeks, doesn't matter. But if you have to complete it 15 working hours, 15 teaching hours, then it is 1 credit. And in case of practical, it's double.
And in case of internship?
In case of internship is 7 hours.
1 week of
1
training.
week.
1 week
1
of
week
training
of-
will constitute 1 credit,
1 week.
right? So you should be aware, and if you are not aware, then you should ask also.
We already adopted this part because in our curriculum we already mentioned that this course is this credit, 3 credit, 1 tutorial. That means 4 credits. तो ये एक्चुअली हम तो अडॉप्ट कर रखा है हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी ने और सभी आप टीच भी कर रहे हैं.
And this research project is for the 4-year research degree course. So one has to take up the 12 credit project in his coursework. Then only they will be provided this UG degree with research. Next. Along with this, the institute are also required to run the other activities like NCC, NSS, Red Cross Society, and they have to form various clubs, etc. So actually, we want to develop an overall personality of the student. So from that point of view, all these things are necessary. Next one. So research development cell, each and every institute and university now required to give emphasis on the research. They are required to produce good quality of the papers. They must produce with good quality of the research thesis. There should be an ecosystem developed into the institute so that every faculty member is motivated to involve himself or herself in the research activities. And from that point of view, the UGC had made it compulsory that all the universities will set up a research development cell which will actually motivate the research into the institute or the university. And here in our university, we have already established this research development cell, and we are continuously trying that the research funding can also be obtained. Along with the research papers and research thesis, books, etc., we are also required to get the patents. Patents are also important because this shows the how quality work is being done by our faculty. So we have to obtain the patents also. And this research cell have been developed here in this our university. Indian knowledge system. Now, this also has been introduced by the national education policy that we should give the knowledge of our ancient knowledge. So basically, if we see that Indian classical knowledge is divided into 14 segments. What are those 14 segments? That is 4 Veda: Yajurved, Rigved, Samved, or Atharved. Then we have 6 Vedanga: Siksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nikuma, and Jyotish. ये हमारे 6 वेदांग हैं. देन इतिहास में रामायण, महाभारत और पुराण हैं. नेक्स्ट धर्मशास्त्र, मनुस्मृति, यजुस्मृति और प्रसार स्मृति. दर्शन है हमारे 6 ऑर्थोडॉक्स, 6 हेटेरोडॉक्स सिस्टम. न्याय, logic and epistemology in other places, sometimes 4 Upveda, that is Ayurved, Dhanurved, Gandharvved, music. So if you see all these things, you will find that each and every aspect is being covered here in the Indian knowledge system. And हमारा जो गुरुकुल सिस्टम होता था उसके अंदर ये सब तरह की शिक्षाएं जो है एक विद्यार्थी को दी जाती थी. मतलब जैसे हमने लास्ट पढ़ा, आयुर्वेद पढ़ा या धनुर्विद्या पढ़ी या फिर ये आपका स्थापत्य कला का पढ़ा. तो एक स्टूडेंट जब अपना ग्रेजुएशन कंप्लीट करता था तो उसमें ये नहीं था कि भी जो है उसने अपना बीए आर्ट का कोर्स हिंदी और उसका कर लिया, ओके. Each and everything he is required to do. तो इसलिए हमारी भारतीय सभ्यता संस्कृति के बारे में जो है स्टूडेंट्स को नॉलेज हो, इसके लिए ये इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम जो है इसको इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया है और इसको भी हमारे करिकुलम में हमें जो है इंक्लूड करना है. नेक्स्ट, internationalization of the education. Now your education do not remain in the boundaries of the state or the nation, right? So here this provision has been, पहले ये बहुत difficult था. अगर आप लोगों ने भी मतलब जो है पढ़ा होगा उस पीछे जो है एजुकेशन सिस्टम के बारे में, it was very difficult that the foreign university can establish their campus here, or Indian university can establish their campus in the foreign countries. But now it has been relaxed. So here you can see that top 100 uh, institution or the universities at the world level now will be allowed to set up the campus in the India. हालांकि उसके रेगुलेशंस मतलब जो है वो अलग से होंगे और उन रेगुलेशंस को जो है पूरी तरीके से जो है पालन करना पड़ेगा और उनको जो है फॉलो करना पड़ेगा. बट नाउ दिस फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी इज देयर दैट द फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी कैन सेट अप देयर कैंपस हियर. इससे फायदा क्या होगा कि द स्टूडेंट्स हु आर गोइंग in foreign countries now will be able to get their education of the foreign university in India itself. दूसरा इसका पार्ट ये काउंटर पार्ट ये है कि the top Indian university will be able to set up their campuses in the foreign university. तो हमारी भी एजुकेशन का जो पार्ट है वो विदेशों में रिकॉग्नाइज होगा कि हम भी जो है किसी से कम नहीं है, हमारी एजुकेशन भी जो है वर्ल्ड लेवल की है. और हर एक किसी को ये अलाउ भी नहीं किया जाएगा. इफ यू आर परफॉर्मिंग वेल यू विल बी अलाउड टू सेट अप योर कैंपस इन द अदर कंट्री. सो देन ओनली वी विल बी कमिंग एट पार द एजुकेशन ऑफ द अदर कंट्रीज. क्योंकि अभी जो डिफरेंस दिखता है मतलब कि भाई अमेरिका आगे है या चाइना आगे है या यूके आगे है, जब ये चीज ग्रेजुअली डेवलप होगी तो हमारी एजुकेशन भी जो है वर्ल्ड लेवल पे है. सो फ्रॉम दैट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दिस प्रोविजन हैज बीन मेड एंड ग्रेजुअली दिस इंटरनेशनलाइजेशन ऑफ द एजुकेशन विल टेक प्लेस. नेक्स्ट, optimal utilization of the higher education institution. एक्चुअली ये कंसेप्ट ये है कि देयर आर मेनी यूनिवर्सिटीज, मेनी इंस्टीट्यूशंस व्हिच आर फंडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, राइट? सो एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दोज गुड फंडिंग दे हैव डेवलप्ड वेरी गुड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन देयर इंस्टीट्यूशंस. IITs है, NITs है, even if we can take the example of ISA, GJU or HAU, they have also established very good infrastructure. So this provision has been made that the institutes have to share. आपकी लाइब्रेरी अच्छी है तो लाइब्रेरी शेयर कीजिए, आपकी लेबोरेटरी अच्छी है तो आप लेबोरेटरी को शेयर कीजिए, आपका कंप्यूटर सेंटर आपका अच्छा है तो आप कंप्यूटर सेंटर को शेयर कीजिए, आपकी फैकल्टी अच्छी है तो आप फैकल्टी को शेयर कीजिए. सो इट इज ए basically sharing of the resources and it has to be promoted. इसमें थोड़ा सा जो है हमको लिबरल भी होना पड़ेगा. लिबरल कौन होगा? जिसके पास फैसिलिटी है, क्योंकि लेने वाला तो लिबरल ही है. But here you can read here also that they can charge some reasonable cost also. If they are providing some facility to other institutes, they can make some reasonable also. तो इससे क्या होगा कि एक समन्वित विकास है, मतलब सबका एक साथ विकास होने की संभावना बढ़ती है. जिन इंस्टीट्यूशंस के पास में फैसिलिटीज नहीं है एंड दे डोंट हैव sufficient funds also but they have talent. मान लीजिए हमारे यहाँ पे मतलब जो है फैकल्टी अच्छी है और वो कुछ करना चाहती है, लेकिन हमारे पास में लैब फैसिलिटी अच्छी नहीं है, तो we can go to some good institute and ask them for sharing the resources. तो इससे क्या होगा कि जो भी अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं वो बढ़ेंगी, इसमें फैकल्टी मेंबर्स के लिए बढ़ेंगी, स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बढ़ेगी. इवन स्टूडेंट्स के लिए भी मान लीजिए हो सकता है कि बहुत सारी लैब्स हम यहाँ एस्टेब्लिश कर सकते हैं, बट देयर आर मेनी लैब्स व्हिच रिक्वायर्स a large cost, so which cannot be developed by. So in that case, the students can also be benefited. So this is a concept which has been brought that we have to share our resources. हमारे पास कोई अच्छी चीज है तो हम उसको शेयर करेंगे इसके अंदर. Yeah. So this is the last slide we will be talking of. Gross enrollment ratio. Here one question again I will ask. What is the meaning of gross enrollment ratio? कौन बताएगा? इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है भाई? देखिए, we are in teaching fraternity, so we should be convergent about these terms also. And this is a very important aspect, which is, or not aspect, but the mandate of the National Education Policy, that at present the GER, gross enrollment ratio, is about 28%. And in National Education Policy, it has been proposed that by 2035, this gross enrollment ratio has to be raised to the 50%. अब हम रेज कैसे करेंगे जब हमको पता ही नहीं कि ग्रोस एनरोलमेंट रेशियो चलो ट्राई कीजिए ट्राई टू रेज इट बाय 50% by 235.
Sir, it's a ratio of the admissions across the country. Value.
Against number of intake, total number of enrollments.
Total
number of sanction seat है उसके against हम कितने admission कर पा रहे हैं?
किसके अगेंस्ट में?
जो total number of sanction seat है जैसे हमारा suppose करो 60 seats
It
है.
has nothing to do with the intake.
Total number of enrollments.
Total number of enrollment
The admissions.
रेशियो है ये रेशियो. तो यहाँ पे टोटल तो आ गया, उसके नीचे या ऊपर कुछ और आएगा?
नीचे सर जो total sanction seat है वो आएगा.
नहीं. I have already told it has nothing to do with the intake.
In a population है.
No. Just please. Just Kuldeep ji is defining it correctly, that what is the meaning of GER. Yes, sir.
If 100 students complete 10 plus 2, then only 28 students take admission in higher education.
Yes, this is the meaning, that there is a boundary line that 10 plus 2, then higher education. Up to 10 plus 2, it is a school education, and then it is a higher education. So, how many students are going to higher education from the school education? So, there will be total student passing out 10 plus 2, and out of those passing out student, it is possible that 100% may go to the higher education, and it is possible that only some of the students are going to the higher education. So here GER is 28%. It means that only 28% students are going to the higher education. So it is a very low ratio as compared to the developed countries like USA, China, UK, etc. In UK, as I remember, in UK it is I think more than 85%. So it is very high. So at least अब यहाँ पे आप देखिए कि 13 साल का टाइम भी इसलिए रखा गया है कि it is not very easy that we can increase it एकदम से इसको कर सकते हैं. So that's why it has been kept 50%, and if we are able to achieve this, it will be a very good target. Then next one is actually it is the inclusion of technology in our education system. Maximum inclusion of technology we have to make, and when we are talking of the flexibility, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, then that is not simply possible by the classroom teaching. So we have to introduce the other means of education also, right? So here the SWAM, MOOCs, online courses, now a lot of courses are available on the online platform. So students have to be motivated. और इंजीनियरिंग में तो ये प्रोविजन भी है कि 20% आप जो कोर्सेज हैं वो स्वयं या मूव्स के थ्रू कर सकते हैं। तो इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे जो है थाउजेंड्स के नंबर में जो है कोर्सेज अवेलेबल है, लेकिन हमने ये प्रोविजन कर रखा है कि हम मतलब स्वयं को अलाउ करते हैं, लेकिन अभी तक मेरे ख्याल से हमारे यहाँ ये प्रैक्टिकली इम्प्लीमेंटेड नहीं है। So those who are from SET particularly or science stream, they must try to implement this thing that the student do the courses, and even the teachers can make their lectures and they can upload on these platforms. So both way we have to do. Student इसमें course करें और teachers अपने जो है lectures या course का जो बना करके उसको upload करें. Teachers can also do the online courses. टीचर्स भी कर सकते हैं, ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज अवेलेबल हैं, उनको जो है टीचर्स कर सकते हैं। सो दिस वाज ए लिटिल अबाउट, आई वुड से दैट इट वाज ए लिटिल अबाउट द नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, बिकॉज इसमें बहुत सारे प्रोविजंस हैं जो, लेकिन जो मेजर प्रोविजंस थे उनको आई हैव ट्राइड टू इंक्लूड एंड आई हैव ट्राइड टू कन्वे योरसेल्फ, एंड यू माइट हैव बीन अवेयर अबाउट दीज एस्पेक्ट्स। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir. The session was quite explanatory, quite informative and enlightening. And I guess that many doubts might have been cleared up after this session about national education policy. Thank you so much, sir. Now we are going to have question session. Would anyone like to raise a question? Do you have any doubt? Yes.
Thank you for the question, sir. I have one thing to question about this. Though this policy has given so much of benefit to the students through different kind of courses, but I would like to know what will be the actual impact of these courses on their future placements. As you mentioned that there would be courses for like 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year would be a degree. So, what would be the criteria that would be based when the companies or organizations would be placing those same category of students?
If we see the composition of the UG degree structure, then you will find that if it is UG certificate or UG diploma, so before passing out UG certificate, one is required to do 4 credit skill course, right? And if is exiting after 2 years being diploma, then one more additional skill course, right? So that skill course which the student is doing, it is mandatory only one, but on his choice he can do more also. Second thing, if you have seen the composition, there we have provided skill courses, 9 credit skill courses, and this there were 8 credit this compulsory courses. So both these courses will add the value to the student. So as I told you that in the skill courses, according to the need of the student and the resources which are available in the institute will be designed. So when we are designing these courses, let us suppose if we are having the pharmacy student, तो हम फार्मेसी की जो नीड है इंडस्ट्री की, उस नीड के हिसाब से उस कोर्स को डिजाइन करेंगे और वही कोर्स हम उसको पढ़ाएंगे।
तो प्लेसमेंट इसमें कैसे काम करेगा?
जब स्किल होगी तो जो है डेफिनेटली वो जो है अपनी
But
स्किल
if somebody would be definitely having an advantage अगर वो 2 साल या 3 साल के कोर्स को कंप्लीट करता है, तो क्या इंडस्ट्री भी उसको उतना ही एडवांटेज देगी?
नहीं, इंडस्ट्री नहीं देगी। इंडस्ट्री जो है एडवांटेज देगी उसकी स्किल को।
Okay.
आज अगर आप ये देखें कि बिना डिग्री के भी लोग अगर उनकी स्किल है तो दे आर परफॉर्मिंग वेल, दे डू नॉट नीड एनी डिग्री, राइट? सो वी आर एडिंग सम फॉर्मल स्किल कोर्सेज हियर, सो डेफिनेटली द स्टूडेंट विल बी स्किल्ड इन द न्यू कोर्स सिस्टम, क्योंकि पहले तो ऐसा सिस्टम था ही नहीं कोई जो है, ठीक है ना? मान लो एक कॉमर्स का स्टूडेंट है, उसको टैली और अकाउंटेंसी बहुत अच्छी आती है, तो उसकी स्किल जो है काम आएगी।
So it will be more of skill-based industry education.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I guess that your doubt is clear. Okay, any other question? Do we have any other question? Sir, I think that you have explained everything quite well, that we do not have the questions. Okay, sir, so now I would like to give a pause to my words after reading a couplet from Allama Iqbal, a motivational quote. मंजिल से आगे बढ़कर मंजिल तलाश कर, मिल जाए तुझको दरिया तो समंदर तलाश कर, हर शीशा टूट जाता है पत्थर की चोट से, पत्थर ही टूट जाए वो शीशा तलाश कर, सजदों से तेरा क्या हुआ सदियां गुजर गईं, दुनिया तेरी बदल दे वो सजदा तलाश कर. So after these motivational quotes, these are for our teachers, for our faculty. I would like to invite Dr. Mahendra Punia to conclude the session.
थैंक यू सर। अभी तक हमने NEP 2020 दैट मीन्स ये जो पॉलिसी बनी है वो 20 में बनी है, लेकिन हम 23 में हैं, तो लगातार कंटिन्यूसली 3 साल से हम यही बोलते आ रहे थे कि NEP 20, लेकिन एक्चुअल में सर ने जो आज एलोबरेट किया है उससे पता चला है कि ये NEP 20 है क्या। अभी तक तो हमने NEP न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 20 इसी के बारे में सुना था, बट टुडे सर ने कहा कि लिटिल बिट, बट हमारे लिए तो ये बहुत ज्यादा है, हमने बहुत कुछ सीखा आज इससे। सर थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर प्रोवाइडिंग सच इंफॉर्मेटिव सेशन। और मैं ये इस सेशन की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, हम सर से डे बाय डे एवरी डे और टाइम टू टाइम भी कुछ मिनट का हिसाब ही नहीं है, हर स्टेप पे हम कुछ न कुछ सीखते हैं। हम हर सेशन में सर से देखते हैं तो कुछ न कुछ क्या बहुत कुछ सीख के जाते हैं। NEP तो चलो एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री पार्ट है, बट जनरल लाइफ के अकॉर्डिंग भी हम बहुत कुछ सर से सीखते हैं। तो जो मैडम ने अभी पढ़ा है समुंदर शीशा वो सब कुछ आई थिंक सो थैंक यू सर वंस अगेन। एंड पार्टिसिपेंट्स के लिए मैं बता दूं कल का हमारा सेशन ऑफ रहने वाले हैं, मॉर्निंग इवनिंग दोनों ही, क्योंकि छुट्टी है, 26 जनवरी है और 27 को मॉर्निंग सेशन 10:30 स्टार्ट होगा। सो आपसे रिक्वेस्ट होगा कि 10:25 पे यहाँ इधर हो जाएंगे। और मॉर्निंग सेशन में फोकस ऑन डिफरेंट मोड्स ऑफ द अप्रोच इन ऑर्डर टू मीट द न्यू एमर्जिंग चैलेंजेस। ये एजुकेशन पॉलिसी भी न्यू चैलेंजेस आए तभी आएगा, तो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली न्यू एमर्जिंग चैलेंजेस पे टॉपिक रहेगा। और जो हमारे स्पीकर रहेंगे वो भी बहुत ही अच्छे स्पीकर हैं, प्रोफेसर प्राग कालकर, डीन फैकल्टी ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड मैनेजमेंट, सावित्रीबाई फुले पुणे यूनिवर्सिटी से रहेंगे। सो आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि जरूर आप अटेंड करें और जितना भी हो सके, जितना जो भी स्पीकर जितना बढ़िया बता के जाता है हम उतना ही अच्छी तरह से उसको गेन करें। Thank you to all of you to listen this session, and this session is successful by you. स्पीकर होता है वो तो होता ही होता है, लिसनर जितना बेटर होता है सेशन उतना ही अच्छे से कंप्लीट हो पाता है। Thank you to all of you.
Okay, thank you.